So this is Dan. Dan's my business mentor. He is the
And tormentor.
and tormentor. Dan runs a massive group called Coffee with Dan. He runs a group called Espresso with Dan for entrepreneurs. He's a best-selling author. He's public speaker. He's spoke with some fantastic, massive names. So it's a real privilege to have him in little extreme fitness up in Cumbria. It's a bit of a coup for us. So thanks for coming on, Dan.
Pleasure, mate. So, ladies and gents, thank you, obviously, for that. I cannot see if you have any comments or anything. So I was going to say, Lee, if whilst we're doing this, if you want to add me into the group, I can have a little look. So I'll just say at the front end, if you have any comments, any questions on anything I'm going to cover today, I'll happily do it. Before we get cracking, just three things, really. First thing is my dad's not too well at the moment. So if my house phone does go off, it's not me being disrespectful to you. We have to let the nurse in. So if I do have 30 seconds away, I've told Lee he has to tell some jokes for a few moments whilst I go and get mother to go and get the door. Secondly, massive shout out to Lee himself for doing this. We came up with this idea 2 weeks ago, I think. And the good thing about Lee is, and I say this as he plays up that he's not that smart, but he's actually very intelligent. Think about when I say Lee doesn't think, that's one of his greatest gifts, as in I give him an idea that would work and he just goes and does it. And I think, how much have you raised so far, buddy?
Nearly $6,000. So 111% of the target. So we
congratulations, mate. Congratulations. That's so massive shout out to you, Lee. I mean, you do a ridiculous amount for the for your local community, and it's just I'm proud to be a part of it. And the final thing, which is going to be quite funny, is you've obviously got me. So you got Jamie after me today. Me and Jamie, really good friends. Jamie did work with Lee before I did, and expect a different presentation style from myself and Jamie. But the beautiful thing about this is sent Lee through the notes to discuss today. Just thought if I share a little bit of funny behind the scenes stuff. And I said, right, you want to lead the way, Lee? There's the questions. I've got all the content here. And he's like, what questions? And I'm like, that's what I sent you last night, buddy. So I will be just leading all of this today. And Lee, if you just want to dive in, I do have you live on my phone. So today's going to be a mixture of things. So because obviously we've got like people who are in the fitness industry, we've got people who just want general fitness. So what I just decided to do is just teach you a variety of things. And my philosophy is always this: if you take one thing, even one, from our time together and action it, then you're good to go. So if you just take one of these things, you're going to be good. So Lee, just give me a little bit of a summary of the sort of people we've got in here. Now, what sort of things are people kind of wanting to know? Because I've got obviously my content for you today, but it'd be just good to have a little, let's see what we've got in here right now, because I'll have a little look.
So some of them are my gym members. So they'll be used to swearing, daftness, blah, blah, blah.
Awesome.
Lots of them are brand new to the group, so I don't know whether they've experienced myself yet.
Bless them.
I haven't been as full on as I normally am. A lot of people, we sort of targeted this event at brand new people who's want to get a little bit fitter. And I think from a mental health point of view, at the minute, it's massive to get people, even if the gym's not open, just exercise and walking. So we're it's very basic level fitness and that we're doing. But your type of stuff, like one of the biggest things people always say is, I haven't got time to do this. I haven't got time to do that. So I think anyone can be more productive and thinking better. Yeah, it's going to help.
Cool. So I'm going to start off with something dead simple. So this is something that I have been doing for, I think, 7 or 8 years now. I had a client so I was a personal trainer back in the day. I still own a gym down in Somerset, where I come from, which has been sort of run hands off for many years now. But I had a very, very successful client, and he came from, very humble stock. And when I met him, I think his business was doing about 20 or 40 million. I can't remember one of them turnover in the little small town in Somerset where I come from. And there's this massive white house. It's huge. It looks like something out of a film set and it's been used in films. And I remember just talking to people, you know, when you kind of go to a gym and you walk the gym floor, you don't know who does what. And I was just chatting to him, and he was a very unassuming gentleman. And he used to come down in a little smart car. He was about 6'2", but you know, he sort of fold into this smart car, and he was always very nice. But I thought, you know, you can just tell the type of day, sort of type of people that he obviously does well. He's very understated, but I thought, anyway. So I talked to him, and I was just saying, yeah. I said, oh, you know, I was talking one day, and I pointed at the house, and I said, oh, you know, we were just outside having a coffee, and I said, I wonder who owns that one. He said, oh, that's me. It's like, fucking hell, Keith, that's amazing. So he got very, very successful, and he taught me this he gave me a version of it that works. So basically, his boss, when he was in his 20s, and he had a very big technology company, like an IT company now, said to him, and this works for any area of your life, and we'll talk about how to figure it out stuff. And he said, every single day, do no less than 3 things, but no more than 5 things that move your own personal needle forward. So that could be, in this case, it was business. So it could be mindset, relationships, schooling, mental health, physical health, whatever. And I ran with that idea. But the problem that I found was that I had too much. So trying to just do 5 things a day, I'd have a to-do list about this long. And we've worked on this as well, Lee, because obviously you want to do so much. Yeah. Actually simplifying it down and making it a lot simpler is easier. So what I did was this. So what I did, and this is something I do to this day, 7 years I've been doing this now. Yeah, 7 years. Every Sunday, and I'll do it tonight. I usually do it about mid-afternoon, so I kind of enjoy my day, have a little break, clear my head, and it gets me ready for the week, and then enjoy my evening. I write down everything I have to do. Literally everything. Just right. Then I rank it. So I literally get it all out of my head. Huge, big fucking list. And then I break it 1, 2, or 3. Now, my goal is to do 3 to 5 ones a day. That's it. And I know if I do 3 to 5 important things per day, my life over time gets phenomenally better. My fitness gets better, my health gets better, my everything, my income gets better. It all gets better. So what you've got to do is so when you start to look at this list, ones are things that are, so if it's for the, obviously I'll do it businessy to start off with, but like for me it would be like business critical only. I can do, you know, it has to be me like this, you know, no one else can do Dan at 10 o'clock today because it's Dan's job. Yeah. So it's all the things I do. But what I would say, you can easily pivot that for your mindset, your mental health, your fitness. You say, right, what is the most crucial things I do every single day to make sure I lose weight or I am more mentally healthy or whatever? And you rank it. And what you soon find, and this is something, so 1 is like super important, mega critical, has to be done. Okay. 2 is kind of like, yeah, needs to be done sort of soonish. And 3 is like, you know, it's a chore. And what you find is when you're actually really honest with yourself, you end up theorizing there's not actually that much you need to do that's that important. So I always come up with making my life busy with what we call busy full work, as in little admin chores and things that I kind of thought were important, but realistically I was putting off the hard work. And now, because I've consistently done it over time, it's not hard, it's just something that I do. And what happens is that over time, this is the most simple system to do it. So for you, it could be, so for example, you might have the world's most perfectly programmed workout, yeah, but let's let you know, kid's ill one day, or you sleep badly, or fucking shitty news thing on, or whatever makes you feel crap about something. So your 1 could be as much as putting aside 30 minutes to do a form of exercise. Take the pressure off. A 1 for you could be to make sure you get your 10,000 steps in per day. It could be to make sure your 1 could be like 8% of your diet you eat on your meal prep, on your plan. It's like this consistency over time that's key. So taking things out of your head, literally getting them out. I guarantee you, your head is going to be like nowadays. Getting it out of your head, writing it down, not thinking about it, writing it down physically, going through and being really, really critical on what's important and just focus on that. And what you find is all the other stuff, and this sounds like I'm being like flippant, but what you find is a lot of things that you think are important are actually important to other people, and they want you to do it for them. And when you're a little bit more selfish, and I'm not saying ignore people or suck people off or anything, but when you focus on you as the dot, then the next circle, immediate family, loved ones, and just focus on that, all these other, it radiates out across the ones. But, and this is especially, and I'll say this, someone's asked what's my 1, 2, 3 list. I'll come back to say, yeah, you have any questions, by the way, ladies and gents, I am doing it here, but because I'm both presenting and leading, I'm questioning myself with my own questions. So I'm flicking back and forward. So thank you for that, Lee. Makes it really easy from a presenting point of view. Sorry, but what I'll say is, and this is especially, I found this a lot with more, not that the gents, by the way, not picking a gender or anything like that, but I find a lot of my female mum clients put so much energy into their children. And I know dads do as well. I'm not saying you do, because I know you do too, but I find this is really quite common with a lot of ladies I work with, because they put so much into the family, into their kids and stuff. They don't do anything for themselves. And they end up getting burnt out and unhappy, and their energy drops and all this kind of stuff. So I said, not being selfish. I'm not saying, just mug your kids off and just leave a bowl of water out for them and let them forage for food and stuff like that. But just remember, all of you that are watching this, to take some time out, and wherever you can, carve out a little bit of selfish time.
I think this, I bought is a little red diary. Is it Get Shit Done or something?
Yeah, I did have one around here, but I think my little sister's nicked it, which is probably not good considering some of the content that's in there. Over there? No, I don't know where it's gone. Yeah, my family tend to move things around depending on their own entertainment.
So that's originally how I was seeing you on Jamie's stuff, but I bought one of them diaries and I just got so much out of it, because for me, I don't know whether you're going to do
Excuse me,
but you've got a section in there where you sort of analyse your week in different sectors, and it's like, for me, I was concentrating a lot on my business and I was smashing it, but then I was neglecting family and Emma. And
there's another. That's the bit. Yeah, that's the next. That was in that. So that's the original one. Then when I made because I've got a book called. It was my publisher's idea. I still kind of slightly critical. It had to be fucking awesome, but I've sold. I know, shut up. Between 500,000 and 750,000 copies. It's gone a bit mad. It's a bit crazy. I didn't expect it to go like that. But then I got a planner that I made called I Get Shit Done planner.
Yeah.
And there's a section there, so that the next, if that's a bit too much work for you right now, you can bring it back a layer. And if I remember correctly, it was business, income, network, friendships. When I say spiritual, I'll explain that in a second. Mindset, relationships. I think and fitness, mental health, physical health. And what you did is you did the same kind of thing. You ranked them, but this one is out of 10. Yeah. So where are you? Just kind of gut feeling. So for example, for me, it was the opposite. So obviously, my business was 8, 9, 10 consistently. But I'd say my health, my mental health, similar, but my physical health was about a 5, which is kind of considering I own gyms. I come from that world. Excuse me. So then I ranked myself, went through all those things. And then I said, right, business is good. Life's good. Family's good. That is my weakness. It's the physical health. And I know that it will bleed into all those other things. So you can also do it in a bigger scale. And then you think to yourself, right, maybe, like you said, business was good, fitness was good, but you just weren't seeing, the little one and your wife that often. And that was something we had to bring back in, because it's like you get to the point, well, what's the point in doing all this if you're not going to be there?
I think ultimately, if you're a 10 on business all the time, but you're a 4 on family, your wife's going to divorce you and take half your business, so that knocks it down to a 5 anyway. So for me, that was a massive eye-opener and now I work on that balance, which is a big thing I took from you.
Yeah, someone did a comment about dealing with work emails and stuff. So right. I imagine there's a chunk of you watching that have been furloughed or are now working from home, or just big changes. Okay, I've been doing this. I said several years now, so this is kind of fine for me. Not the situation, but just the working arrangement. For those of you, there's just a little tip for those of you that are working online now, is understand that if you're paid a wage to do things and to, if you've got these hours that you agree you're doing with your employer, then make those fixed. So when you work online, it becomes very, very traditional to let this fucking thing rule your life. you don't let it. So if you're furloughed or if you're not working right now, it's fine. But if you are doing some work from home, be very, very strict with your time. So, for example, block out times to reply to, batch reply to emails, batch reply certain work. If you have to create something, batch reply. So block it out in your diary to do it. And I'll talk about this diary management thing. I'm going to talk to you. It segues quite nicely into it. And then outside of those hours, it's your time. So make sure, especially with the lockdown situation, being selfish, and that is one of the chapters in my book, not in a nasty way, but just taking time out for you to get your things done is super important. Your phone will rule your life on lockdown if you let it. So being mindful of screen time, being mindful of how long you're idly scrolling. I would say my advice would be to avoid all news, personally. I would unfollow anyone who is particularly toxic or start going a bit loopy on the kind of whole conspiracy side of things. By all means, it's interesting to kind of look at what's going on in the world. But I have found when mum and dad are in their 60s, so they've moved in with me for a little bit until lockdown, then they're going to, just so we can all be together. And they watch the news a lot. It's just traditional. They kind of the thing they would watch the 9 o'clock, it was just what they did, their generation. And I found myself, sitting with them and hanging out with them, watching this, and it's just all negative. It's all miserable. And I said to myself, so when the Corona update is on, when the nightly news on which they watch, I just excuse myself, go to my room, just chill out. Because what I find is that the negativity from the news bleeds into my own happiness as well. So I just say from a time management point of view, don't get caught up wasting time on stuff that generally isn't important. And what I found is if it's important, you'll find out about it. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like if, for example, we both own fitness facilities. Yeah. So obviously I looked at the update, but then do you know what I did? Knew it was happening, waited till it finished. Facebook, fucking keyboard warriors start sharing stuff. I look at a few clever people, see their take on it, good to go. So just, I'd say, be mindful of your time. I mean, how have you found it, Lee, from a sort of time like since, because obviously this is a big change for you.
I'm managing my time better, I think. I've got that freedom on my phone and my Mac now. So that just blocks out everything. And what I found was the first time I'd done it, I blocked it out for an hour. Like we found out, I think everybody works different, don't they? So
yeah.
I had to figure out how best I worked. And I can work for about an hour and a half. And then my mind starts wandering and I end up doing weird stuff and weird videos and stuff.
Yes, you do, Lee, which is very special of you.
For that one, it doesn't sound much, an hour and a half of work a day, but when it's focused work, it locks your phone down. So I use Freedom and it just takes everything off my phone. I get so much done in that 1.5 hours. And now, when I'm with Sienna now, I use that Freedom as well because probably like everybody, your phone takes over your life. And I was spending time with Sienna playing on the floor with Play-Doh and flicking through Facebook. And
you weren't actually present.
Yeah, and I think from a business point of view, when you put a post on, especially now when I'm trying to raise money for charity, I'm constantly refreshing that link to see how much it's going up.
You want to see it.
Yeah, so now I block time out for Sienna. It sounds mental, but...
Do you know what? Well, that's the next thing I want to talk about. So it's the one thing I will say to everyone. I mean, I'm an iPhone boy, been using iPhones for a long time, but I believe you can do exactly the same on Android as well. One thing I'm going to suggest to all of you, and again, if you have, this is something as well, you probably, for those of you in relationships or with commitments or dependents, you need to be, when I say selfish, it's not being mean. Everything you do for you, not excessively, just take, like I said, carving that little bit of time out for you to work on your fitness, your mental health, your physical health, your nutrition, just little bits of time, okay, makes you a happier, more productive, less shitty, moody person. Because all of those things have been proven to improve mood, as obviously as well the quality of your life as well. So a happier, healthier, fitter, leaner, stronger, mentally sounder you bleeds into everyone else thinks you're fantastic. It's like a ripple effect. It passes on through to your kids, to your partner, to your family, to your friends, your interactions and stuff as well. So I'm saying this because it's very easy to get to the end of the day. You've been busy, but you don't know what you've done. And you think to yourself, fuck, I was going to train today. I was going to do my meal prep on this. So one thing that I did, and I would suggest to all of you to do this today, is to go literally do that brain, write down the things you need to focus on. Okay. And they become non-negotiable. So I put them on my diary, on my phone, on repeat infinity. So they're just done to infinity. So for example, a few things that are in mind. I prefer training in the afternoon. Obviously I can, because I've got some gym kit here. I've got my own place as well. So for example, first thing I said, because I ranked it as my priority, was my health and fitness. So I've got 3 slots a week to do my meal prep, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I do 2 days at a time, get those cooked and sorted out and just in the fridge. That's at 10:30, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, without fail. My gym sessions is 2 till 3, 5 days a week. So I literally say I'm going to train and then I have weekends off. I have time for reading. I have time for work. So for example, I'm similar to Lee. I work in 90-minute or 2-hour blocks. So I'll do one of those per day. Just solely fix that. And they go in the diary first. So all that stuff goes in the diary first. But the same, like you said about with Sienna, I do the same with every night, 9 till 10, because my little sister, she's also special needs. She has a little rest at that point. So 9 till 10, I spend with mum and dad. So we just watch TV and no phone, no things. So I put all these things, everything that makes Dan a better Dan and allows me to serve my audience, my clients, my family, my friends better, goes in first. Then, work and so on and so forth fits in around that. And it may sound counterproductive, but I did it the other way around for so many years. It was always work, work, work first, just as you were, Lee. You were doing exactly the same thing. And as a result, an unhappy camper, yes, I was, successful and so on and so forth, but, a relationship that was very, very good, I ruined because I was working all the time. Literally, we parted ways just because I was never around. I was never present. It turns out, for all the money that I generated and the nice life I had, it was just, she just wanted to actually see me. I would literally just work for 18, 20 hours a day. Literally, I was doing those sort of crazy hours. My health suffered, mental health suffered, physical health suffered, happiness suffered. So I make sure I put all those things in on a day-to-day basis first. And I will say this, that the art of being both shameless and selfless is going to get you ahead. So, Lee, obviously you deal with, a lot of people, the general public, health and fitness. Do you find when you tell people to focus on their own needs, what's your sort of traditional, because you'll get pushback from that from a lot of people, because most people I meet are quite selfless, as in they want to help others and do stuff. And it's like, what would you suggest to those who just haven't carved out time or won't for themselves right now, should I say?
Firstly, I'd like to say I like the bit where you said you meal prep Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Do you mean you're clicking the button to bring your minions to deliver it for you?
Well, it doesn't matter how. So, for example, I ensure that I am free to tell, all right, do you know what, Lee? Fuck you. To make sure I let...
It sounded really good, that.
Yeah.
But I have
to. Oh, mate, I said milk. I didn't say how it was done, but I make sure. Okay, right, here we go. Southern wanker. I don't even care right now. So what I did, because we obviously talk about, obviously Lee's very big in the local business community. I reached out to a local cafe and said to them, here's what I want, because I said big focus on health. I've got to say that the training and nutrition side of things has kept me kind of sane during this, knowing I've got meals coming through, training booked in at certain times, all that kind of stuff. So I just rang up a local cafe and said, this is what I need to do. So yes, Lee, it's important to me that I pick from the custom menu from the private chef that I have who brings me my food 3 times a week. So yes, Lee, and I don't care. And you're more than welcome to think I'm a tosser, ladies and gentlemen. But like I said, I've worked very hard to get here. And
to be fair, I'm jealous. I'm just jealous.
But you know what? You say that it costs me less than it would to do a big shop.
Yeah.
They buy. So the thing is, it's like this. So I'm thinking. So just as a little tip for you, if money is tight, obviously, be sensible, smart shopping choices, batch cooking. But I was actually able to support a local business. It's a really, really good cafe. I obviously kind of sort of pay them to do it and stuff, and that to do it with my macros and so on and so forth, and help it, because I've realized, yes, it's an expense, but it's an expense that for me is so important. I know how much better I sleep, how much happier I am. When I look in the mirror, I think, yeah, do you know what? If I was a woman, I'd give that a go.
Yeah.
I'm looking a lot better. I'm happier. And that's the thing is, you know, you even joked with me this morning saying you're looking sort of almost like sort of clean cut and professional and stuff. And it's like, well, thank you, Lee. Appreciate that as a start. But what I found is that, again, you should never attach your worth as an individual to your looks, but I'm leaner, I'm fitter, I've lost some weight, I'm stronger than I was, you know, I'm getting a bit of shape back like I used to. I feel better. And then my confidence, you know, I'm not an unconfident person anyway. I don't have any issues at all, but I'm even more confident. I've got more energy. I'm more enthusiastic, and it's literally bleeding into every single part of my life. You know, my dad's, you know, really not well at the moment, but I've got enough positivity and energy and stuff to kind of lend it to him, if that makes sense. You know, I serve tens of thousands of people a day via social media. You know, I take my sister out and do stuff. I've got an abundance of sort of energy and enthusiasm because I realise, for me, if I get my mindset, I'm pretty strong on, but get my nutrition right, focus on training, get my literally, because when life goes to shit, I would say this to you when I say about some tips on what to do if it does go a little bit pear-shaped. I think about what can I control. So I can't control a virus. I can't control the government. I can't control what other people think about me or do about me or to my business, should I say. But there's certain things I can control. I can control what I put in my mouth, what I put in my head, and what I do with my body. And I just think to myself, right, well, you'll find this when life is spinning a little bit out of control. If you focus on what you can control, it gives you a great deal of stability and calm. And I don't beat myself up about it. If I, you know, my goal is to aim for 80% consistency on the important areas of my life over time. And I track it and I look it on my phone and I see the things I do. So for example, last 3 nights, not the best sleep, but I thought to myself, right, so woke up a little bit tireder, but I think, you know, stick to my routine, do my steps, do everything I need to do. But I've hit my nutritional week and I woke up in the middle of the night last night. And I'm always like this whenever I've got a morning anything. So I want to make sure, especially when I'm doing something for you, Lee, especially for charity as well, I want to make sure that I'm up, I'm perky, I'm alert, caffeinated off my tits, just so I can, you know, hopefully give you a good experience as well, whoever's watching this. And I will say as well, ladies and gents, because whilst you're here with me live, any feedback, any questions, I am keeping an eye on it here. So if you have any questions for me whilst I'm here or anything you want clarity on, please ask. I'll be happy to share it as well. So like last night, I woke up, it was about 4 a.m. Well, 4 this morning, should I say, last night, and I was just peckish. And I know for a fact I am a snacker. If there is snacks in the house, I'm off. So if I wake up in the night, and so from one of my little simple tactics for getting in good shape is, and it is different for those of you with children, like my assistant, bless her, my assistant's 5'3", no, 5'2", sorry. So she loves her snacks. She loves her snacks. So she got her husband to put the snacks in a box on the top cupboard, so she can't fit, so she can still get the snacks, but she's just made it a little bit more awkward. She has to bring a chair in from the dining room, she has to stand on the chair, get the box down, then get, you know what I mean, it's like she's put steps in front of it. So last night I woke up, so I was feeling snackish, and I found some cookies in one of the cupboards. I just went on a little hunting mission, and then I thought, yeah, a couple of Sicilian Sicilian orange and white chocolate cookies, fucking delightful. And I thought, I had a few of them, but I know for a fact today I'm back on with, I mean, it wasn't maybe like 200-300 calories. It's not a big deal, but I know that over time will take me away from my goal. So I think to myself, cool, I felt like a snack. I was feeling a bit low blood sugary, I was peckish. Fuck it, I had it. But today, back on it again, and I'll probably do an extra, 3,000 steps today on my walk, just to kind of counter it. So I'm always thinking to myself, I don't beat myself up if I am human and I have a shit day and I want to eat some crap food. I mean, same for those of you, like, obviously, I don't drink anymore, but I used to use drink as a bit of a kind of coping mechanism. So I removed that for myself. But don't beat yourself up if you kind of, don't have the perfect session, or you do miss, your macros or your steps or whatever for a day. It's just a day. Consistently over time, if you're good, and you hit your targets, you're going to achieve great things in your life. You really will. And it's not sexy. It's very hard to sell, isn't it? But that kind of like time served thing.
I think I liked a post Dexter put on your page was about setting realistic goals. And rather than saying I want to train 3 days a week in the gym, first goal is to make sure you put your trainers on that day. And
micro
even if
commitments.
you don't get to the gym, as long as you've got your trainers on, you've hit your target, you feel better about yourself. And then next week you might get to the gym. And I think that's massive, isn't it? Like setting realistic goals. And going back to what you said before about trying to get people with looking after themselves and doing stuff for themselves more, find that a lot harder with mums, especially good mums, because like you said before, they're very focused on the kids. They think that's their role, to be with that kid all the time, doing stuff for them. And when they burn out, and it's hard to change that mindset until they do burn out, and then they can see that it's bad for the kid when the mum burns out, so they need to take that time for themselves. But I think
it's bad for, and I say this I've said this in business relationships, personal relationships, whatever it is. You have to maintain a degree of personal identity and personal freedom. It doesn't have to be much. But for example, like I have, do you know what? Fuck it, I'll show you. Right, hold on. And if you wonder why I'm moving a bit special, as I said, I'm massively committed to my training at the moment. And, oh Christ, sorry. So yesterday I went to the gym. I was in a bad mood yesterday. I got a shitty message at the start of the day and I thought, right, not going to let it ruin my day. Went down to my gym, thought I'm just going to train this off, put on some heavy metal and just was lifting. So obviously I'm in my little, when you get in the zone when you're training, but I'd forgotten because we lent out a lot of our equipment to clients. So we lent a lot of stuff out so that we're kind of like using old kit that we kind of generally keep in the back and stuff. So the weights we had were smaller and I didn't really notice them. So as I pulled the 20 off, I was doing rows. There's a 10 kilo weight that I just hadn't noticed. It was just thinner and it was smaller because we got the big disc ones usually, but it was a little solid one and it just fell off and went bang onto my toe and broke my toe. So good times. So
you're actually showing us your foot.
I'm not getting my foot out, you tit.
You sent me a picture of it this morning.
That's because I don't care about you. You're a horrible human being, and you've sent me horrific things, Lee. So listen, I will say this. I think when we get older, we lose a lot of our personal identity in the things that make us how we are. So, for example, as I got more successful, more time, more freedom, I kind of got into some stuff that I wanted to do. Like I got some jet skis and motorbikes. That's kind of like I like going fast and stuff, like skydiving and, all these things I always wanted to do when I had a bit more time and more freedom. But as I got more into work and put more of me into it, more of my energy into work, and so I lost who I was a little bit. And I'm a geeky little kid. I was literally a little dork. I love literally this is like my current bits and pieces books wise I dive into. I've got about another 2,000 books in sort of storage that I keep. I'm a massive, I'm a nerd, sci-fi nerd. I love playing computer games and stuff, but I let all this stuff go. And equally, I'm sharing this with you, I like painting miniatures. So I paint these little things called Warhammer figures.
I used to love doing that.
And you know what? See, the thing is, old me, so I don't come from a particularly wealthy family at all. So mum and dad used to say I was allowed one metal miniature, which was £5 when I was a little kid. And I remember I did this with, I went with my assistant, Sarah, and I went at Christmas time and I bought everything. Because I'm a grown up now and I can have the things I want. But those little bits of dorkiness that I suppressed, put to one side and think, actually, those are the things that make me happy. And like the little things that I do, like I like nature, I like wildlife, I like animals and stuff. I like painting and drawing. I used to make jewelry, all sorts of stuff. And Lee, obviously, whenever I tell Lee some of the things I do like that, he just generally looks and just to say, fucking southern dickhead. But honestly, I love all this kind of stuff. And it's like, but carving out a little bit of time to do the things that make you and make you happy is so important. It really is. And that's the thing, because you'll find so many people just don't do it. And the downside is that they become unhappy.
Yeah. I want to buy one of them little things now and paint it.
Do it then. What's your excuse?
You made me jealous of it.
Mate, I've got there's 2 bags of them here. I've got everything.
Is it World of Warcraft or something?
It's called Warhammer.
Yeah, Warhammer. There's loads, wasn't there? We used to play it. Like, a proper game. There's like fucking 10 of us playing it on this guy's board, and this guy was about 40 odd. We were like 17, and like he had loads, and I was always proper jealous. Like just seeing that there.
But this is the thing. You don't. This is it. It's like I said, relatively. And if I do come across as flip, I'm not sort of. I've worked hard to get here. But they were like these were most of the things that make me happy are not expensive. They are little things. They are walks down to the beach. They are going to, if you can't now, but like going to the aquarium, going for a ride on the motorbike, reading a book. Playing like today, for example. I mean, my sister's like permanently 5 to 7. She's that sort of mental age. We're really looking forward to this. We've got an afternoon of Kaplunk. I can't wait. I haven't played Kaplunk since I was a kid, but it's the little thing. What I find is that this is just a general good a bit of advice, especially for everyone here who's, I'm going to say, realistically, mid-20s onwards. Life, you felt the harshness of life at some point in your life. By that point, at some point, pretty much everyone has. You've experienced some sort of challenge and so on and so forth. So think back to the things you used to do in childhood that made you happy. Do those things. And I'm not talking about being a big kid or anything like that, but if you want to, the things that made me happy as a kid were painting, writing, I used to write little stories, nature and animals. I used to love wildlife and stuff, so I get into nature and that. I used to love going out on my bike. I'm just a bit older and a bit lazy now, so it's a pedal bike has been switched for a motorbike. And I loved playing games, just simple games. And I used to enjoy, and I thought to myself, and I've been doing all this simpler stuff since lockdown. I'm so much happier. So much happier. And what you think is, I will say, if you attach your happiness to a physique goal, a financial goal, a relationship goal, I mean, Lee, saying, because we've got what we call mutually assured destruction. Me and Lee have been friends for a fair amount of time now. We've both got enough fucking dirt on each other to be able to make this live stream very offensive. Not bad stuff, but just enough stuff to make you just go stop. So, for example, I wasn't a particularly confident, very shy kid when I was younger, and I was a bit shy around girls and stuff, and I was just rubbish. Didn't know what to do. So I attached a lot of my self-worth to having, an attractive partner and so on and so forth. And you've obviously seen some of the unique individuals that I have dated in our friendship together, Lee. But I say this, but that was it. So, for example, I'd attached a lot of my self-worth to being with someone, societally attractive, because I didn't feel particularly, this is not now, but this is going back in the day, because I didn't feel happy as who I was as an individual. I, come from more of a modest stock. So I always wanted to be successful, and it was never enough. And I always wanted to do more and work harder and bring more in and stuff. And part of the reason for doing that is for my family. My sister's, I've got to make sure I've got enough to look after her when she's older. But then there was this constant drive to do more and more and more and more and stuff. And then, when I attach my self-worth to having a certain physique or a certain look of partner or a certain income or be a certain way, when I achieve those goals, and I've achieved every single goal I've ever set out to achieve so far, everything, which is weird when you say it out loud and it makes you sound like a bit of a prick, but I hope it doesn't come across that way. But I'm very process driven. I decide I want something, so here I am, here's where I want to go. I don't know what this bit is yet, but I know where I want to go. So I'll work out some steps as I go along to kind of get there. But every time I attached my happiness to an achievement of a goal, when I achieved it, I had a brief moment and then gone. And so it's learning to fall in love with the process, the journey, the enjoyment of learning new things. Like for example, I'm not going to say now because I'm keeping this to myself, but there's a couple of new skills that I'm learning, because it's like I haven't mastered anything for a while. I am absolutely fucking useless at them right now. But as I improve, I'm enjoying learning and improving over time. I went to see Lee. I went to come up with you. When was that? When did I come up to see you? Was that earlier? Was that this year? It was, wasn't it?
It wasn't long before lockdown.
Yeah. So I came up to see Lee. So Lee's an enormous bastard. And he looks terrifying. I mean, he looks like the sort of person that'd eat you. But he's lovely. He's an adorable human being. He's a really nice guy. He's a great dad, and he's a good businessman. And like I said, doing this for charity and bringing in the quality of people in to do, because it is a credit to Lee. But understanding that, Lee's obviously but you competed in bodybuilding, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Lee's, I never have. I was a rugby player, played rugby league, so I did live up north for a while. So I am a little bit, I have a homage to my northern roots there. But I train for power and strength mainly for rugby. And I've never really done bodybuilding. So I came up for Lee, and Lee did, what did we try? Did we do back? What was it we did together?
Everything. You literally wanted to train your whole body. So we haven't.
Oh my God. Everything. And we did, stuff that I've never, because obviously mine was sort of like more based around sort of heavier weights and more explosion. And we did bodybuilding. And I've never been, so like I went back home on the train. It's a long trip from Cumbria down to Somerset, just in bits, just my whole body just hurt. But, recently, I've hired a coach who is very much, I would say, sort of an aesthetic expert. He works with people who are going into films and stuff like that to kind of get the certain look, because I've never done it. And I'm having to, in the nicest way possible. It's embarrassing because I've got a degree in sports nutrition, I've got a gym, but there's certain things that I think to myself, fucking hell, I didn't know that was what I was doing it wrong and stuff. So, having a coach and an expert and being in, groups around people has been so useful for me, because I'm having to relearn skills and slow things, all things and stuff, which my ego took a battering to start off with, because I'll be super, I've got a cracking ass, great legs, phenomenal legs. And I can keep up with Lee as well. And he's a bigger boy than me, but I've always wanted, but it doesn't matter how good my legs, glutes, hamstrings and stuff are. I've always wanted biceps. I've never had them. They're shit. And it's only now when I've learned, I had an expert, I had help, I had advice, I had coaching, and I've listened. And I've ditched my ego, and I'm doing what I'm told. And there's a lesson here, and I am segueing. I'm actually being smart here on my presenting, seeing as nobody's giving me any prompts. So what I've done is by working with him, I've got the, well, all right, have I got biceps? No, but they're less shit than they ever have been. And that's a start. And one thing I will say is, on this journey that you're on, obviously you're here for probably either A, to support Lee, B, for fitness, B, to selfish, get yourself in better shape and stuff. Understand that having expert help and having someone guide you and give you advice and just listen to them and do what they say is going to make your life so much easier as well. So for those of us, like, for example, when Lee commissioned me to work with him, I mean, one of the things we were looking at growing your online business, which I have a big one of, #lol, but also my own fitness facility. I have been hands off for several years. So obviously, Lee, you love being on the tools and stuff and you enjoy it. But one of the first things you did when you started, you were doing so many hours on that your business hadn't grown. And obviously that was with Jamie, and you'll be seeing Jamie coming up next. But then one of the things Jamie said is, flip that around. You should take those back, work on it, and look how many people you get to help now. Look how your life has changed, the freedom you have. So how important would you say is it for, from your point of view, as someone who spent, you've invested, I'm not going to be vulgar and talk about numbers, but you invested a lot in yourself and coaching on all sorts. How important is it to express to people watching, to actually listen to the advice and to get a coach or to get just some community or something where you're getting guidance?
I've always been of the mindset of, if I'm going to do something, I want to do it right from the start to save time. When I started golf, imagine me starting golf with a big lob, and I was trying to hit the ball as hard as I could, because to me, if you hit it hard, it's going to go further. And I was awful for 12 months. So I hired a golf coach, and then he told me not to hit it as hard, and then it went further.
Mate, it's one of the, I as someone who played a lot of golf in my youth, that is golf is a phenomenal game to understand the power of things like coaching and slowing down, because I'm the same. I'm strong. I could I could sort of clean and jerk 160 kilo for quite a few reps. Powerful. Yeah. Golf said, no, fucking go over there, you little ball. And you end up just spooning it anywhere.
It's nuts, isn't it? But I think from even my point of view, I've been in this industry for 27 years and
old.
Doing these presentations now, John Rothery, one of my coaches, he's invested a lot of time into a lot of training courses on the peak, and he's doing a presentation later on exercise progression, and then he popped up. I helped him put the slides together. It popped up. Now we'll talk about the big four. And I was saying, what the fuck?
Where's he got this from? Yeah.
Is it like, to me, the big three: squat, deadlift, bench?
Yeah.
And it wasn't. It was vertical press, horizontal press.
Oh, of course. Yes, of course. Yes.
Like I've been in the industry 27 years. I've never ever heard any of this. So now I'm intrigued. And rather than being a dickhead and thinking, we've been in 27 years, you must be wrong.
Yeah.
I was looking more at it, and we've done some exercise progression. And the whole thing is like, don't just jump into a squat, a bench press, a deadlift. This is the progression. You start off with a press up or a floor press. You move into this. And when he's explained it, I was looking, I was like, you know what? You're absolutely bang on. But how many of us in the industry...
Lee, this is so, ladies and gents, this is the nurse for my dad. So I'm going to give me 30 seconds. Lee, keep going. I'll be back in 2 seconds, everyone.
Anybody got any questions? Fire them in for him. The thing I like there is when he was mentioning about stuff that makes you happy with in your childhood. And as soon as I seen that painting, I was wanting to paint that. Me and Emma were playing Curbsy the other day. How many people used to play Curbsy when they were a kid? And the satisfaction that we were both getting off it was absolutely insane. So for me, Dan's saying about the childhood memories and do what you do. Now we're adults, we've got that money to buy stuff. It makes perfect sense. Dan, is Curbsy just a northern thing? Have you played Curbsy down south?
The fuck is Curbsy?
So you stand on you're on one pavement, your partner's on the other, and you throw the ball at the curb to hit it on the pivot, and it sends it back to you. No,
definitely a northern thing.
Next time I come to you or you come to me, we'll play Curbsy. You will fucking love it. Here's Jamie. Should we let Jamie in?
Okay. Well, just someone said Michael just said Dan's Zoom backdrop is significantly better curated than mine. So this is real. This is my my living room is there. So that's it there. One thing I was to say, because I had a few, there's one thing I wanted to kind of express to you about this whole lockdown thing. And it's basically, I was going to talk about growth. So it could be business, mindset, fitness, health, whatever. This is just one thing I'm going to say. Remember I said at the start about the ranking thing, like where are you in life on stuff right now, is don't try and do everything. Okay. Don't try and do everything. Hey, Jamie, don't try and do everything at all, because what will happen is you will set this plan. You're like, I'm going to do these steps. I'm going to get this workout done. I'm going to do this nutrition thing. I'm going to learn this musical instrument, read this amount of books. I'm going to watch these. It's very tempting to want to do all of the things. Don't. Because what will happen is you'll do all of the things for a few days. Life will get in the way, because it does. And then you'll go to shit. So pick a couple of things. I would probably suggest something physical. So it could be your training, nutrition, that you're going to make sure is a part of your life, and something to grow, maybe your business, maybe your mindset, maybe your education, just something like that. Just take the pressure off trying to do everything, and have a couple of things you work on that are kind of weaker points in your life right now, and move forward.
Fucking hell, like I thought you looked good with all them little books. Jamie's got like a proper setup.
Oh, mate, don't mess about. Don't mess about. Mr. Meredith.
Mr. Alderson, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you? How's my audio? Good?
It's perfect, mate. Coming through loud and clear.
There we go. Excellent. What are you chatting about then?
So we're just wrapping up my little section then, buddy. We're just talking about some general sort of personal development-y type things. Jamie is also a good friend of mine, as well as Lee as well. And to this day, the strangest person to share a room with I have ever shared a room with in my life. Jamie is ex-military. I'm sure you'll explain that. But you said you got used to just being there, because obviously you never know when you could sleep, just falling asleep wherever you could, get a nap. And obviously you used to sleep in like a sleeping bag. So we went to, after a big event, which Jamie spoke at mine last year, we went to Amsterdam for a few days together, and we got a really nice place we stayed, but it just thought it'd be fun to share a room. And I think I turned my head to get someone to talk to him, and he's like this. I actually went over to him. You know, when you think to someone, you think like, is he dead? Like, I was just looking at it, just like, honestly, one of my favourite humans, but perhaps one of the most unique individuals you'll find in the fitness industry.
Unique. I'll take that. I'll take that as a compliment.
You are a diamond. I mean, and I said this all the time, Jamie. I hoped you would be a prick because you're too handsome.
Thing is, you're not the first person to say that. They're like quite a lot.
You're not, and you're really kind. You helped me out of a few tough spots mentally as well. Jamie was there for me when I was going through some stuff some years ago. Good husband, good dad. Annoyingly positive. I kind of hope you probably haven't, like a tiny willy or something. Something you need, something that's not perfect. Yeah. It's very frustrating. But no, Jamie's an awesome human being, and I think you're going to enjoy his section next.
Excellent. Dan, absolute legend. Thank you. And likewise, back at you. Everything that you just said. Just add a beard in there as well.
Just add a beard, remove abdominal muscles, remove biceps.
Oh man, mate, I've been seeing your posts with the old gym stuff.
It's almost there.
Amazing.
I can almost see it's about that much of a vein. It's just up here.
That's when shit gets serious, when you see a vein.
Man. It is. Lee, do you want to transition on to Jamie now? Because obviously we're a little bit... So what I'll do is let me just wrap up. So ladies and gents, I just wanted to say, and I'll leave after this, thank you very much for your time. I mean, not many people want to wake up to this on a Sunday morning, but I hope you have enjoyed it. If you're watching this back on the replay, hope you got something from this as well. It was a kind of a bit of a buffet of ideas, but just like if you notice, the theme that I've mentioned throughout the talk is trying to do everything is going to fuck you up, really. So I would say if you've taken notes, awesome. If you haven't, watch it back, take some notes. There's a certain there has been studies about it. When you write things down physically, there's you retain more information. So I would say take a few notes, write down a few ideas, a few key concepts, pick a handful of them, and run with them. I hope you've got some value from this. If you have any comments, questions, or feedback, please feel free to pop it on the thread. I will pop back in later. Lee, anything from yourself, my friend, before I chip off?
No, I just want to say a big thanks for your time. I know you're a busy guy, and over-delivered as usual. So thank you very much.
All right, ladies and gents, have a wonderful day. Jamie, over to you, and I shall see you all soon, too. Bye-bye, man.
Thanks ever so much.